Welcome back to Zero Gravity Live, your waitlist weekly tech talk podcast, bringing all the latest discussions right to you. Joined by my bestest friends in the whole wide world, Matt Price and Sterling Wilson, and we're sponsored by Object First UPI. That's out of the box immutability, best storage for Veeam. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, ring the bell, subscribe, leave a comment, talk to us during the show. All of that helps. If you're watching on LinkedIn, we respond to comments in real time. So why don't you let us know where you're watching from? Where in the world? I don't want to hear that you're watching from LinkedIn. I already know that. I want to know where you are. Where are you this moment? Starbucks is not a good answer either. And lastly, if you're listening in podcast form, why not leave us a nice review? It helps us out, and we would greatly appreciate it. And like I said before, I'm joined by my two favorite people, Matt and Sterling. How are y'all doing this week?
Doing good, brother. It was a long Memorial Day weekend, and it really reminded me this weekend of why we celebrate Memorial Day right here in the U.S. And it was a big thanks to all the past and present service members out there. We really appreciate you guys. It was a long weekend. It was a ton of sun, time with the kids at the pool, so nice, relaxing, and capped all off with a nice grilling session on the Big Green Egg yesterday. So.
Ooh,
I saw
Yeah.
that. I saw some of
Yeah,
the
dude.
pictures
It
of
was
that big green.
good.
Let me tell you, Matt, you throw it down, sir. I am coming down to Georgia at some point to join in on that.
Yeah, it was nice. I'll see if I can dig up a pic while we're on the show and I'll throw it up for you
Absolutely.
guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, my weekend was great as well. You know, took a little bit of time, got a little motorcycle ride in, did some chores around the house. But this weekend was really special. I had a childhood friend of mine who just so happened to be passing through San Diego at that time. Been in the military 28 years, a full bird colonel, as we like to call it. So we got to sit around, swap some stories, get some great meals and some beverages. It's just those times to Matt's point that really brings it all home and to
Yeah.
show us how special we are and the people around us are.
I love it. Y'all had a great weekend. I got to do something I've wanted to do for a long time, which is go see Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. It's the movie I was the most excited for this year, and it did not disappoint. Such a good time was had. My wife and I got to see it in IMAX, and
Wow.
just perfect movie. Great, great time, and couldn't be happier. But I'm glad we all had a great weekend. We're now going to talk about what's going on in our offices. And Matt, I know you have something today that might tie
Yeah.
into the topic we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let me do the sharing here on my desktop and let's see where to go. There it is. All right. So first thing I'll show you guys, since I did tease you a little bit with what I had
Oh,
on
look
the
at
on the
that.
grill. So check this out. So we did some
Oof.
nice ribeyes. We did baked potatoes on the Big Green Egg with some asparagus, and it was quite delicious, if I do say so. So
You can't
love,
show us this an hour
really.
before lunch.
I
That's what
know,
I'm
right?
saying. I mean, come on.
No, it was very good, and it really, like I said, it hit home with we are able to do stuff like this,
Yes.
right? For people like that serve in the military. So again, really appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So before we get into my topic, which these kind of tie hand in hand, so I'm just going to leave this up for a minute, and you'll see why I'm showing what I'm showing. So my cool thing, and it's not really that cool, but it goes in line with this topic, and this is one of these little portable battery chargers, this little brick. And, I bought this before, obviously, I read this article, but I mainly bought this for travel and, being on the airplane. And it's got a nice little carrying case. And when you open it up, the little bank sits right there, and you've got your assortment of cables over here. So whether you're charging USB-C, iPhone with Thunderbolt, and it's got everything you need in this one little box. And what's cool about it is it'll charge not only like an iPhone or, a mobile phone, but it'll also charge your laptop. So it's got enough juice in there for like the MacBook Pro can actually charge up using that little bitty brick. So you're on an airplane, you're at a show, a conference, and let's say you don't have access to plug in physically, with your brick, your power brick, you can actually just plug into this little mobile bank. And, with that, this kind of leads me to this topic. I don't know if you guys want to comment on my power brick before we go into the topic. It's not as cool as like a drone or home automation, but Sterling, I know you're on the road a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got one of these also.
I don't really know where you're going with this, so you may be unlocking a new fear in me, but I kind of live and breathe by those chargers. I mean, as you said,
Yeah.
I'm always on the go. I definitely have a couple of bricks to run a couple of different things. And in fact, I just bought a couple of new cords. One of them was 100 watt, and one of them is a 240 watt that
Yeah.
can charge some of my devices on the go. And I hope I'm safe. So I don't know where you're going with this next part.
Yeah, I live by my brick because when I travel, I always bring my Steam Deck, and that thing's just a
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
battery monster. So I
Yeah.
never know if
Yep.
the plane's gonna have charging ports on it. So I like to have my big beefy 45-watt charging brick just
Yeah.
in case.
Yeah. I
But
fly Southwest, so a lot of those aren't even an option. Seriously.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm very nervous. Like what
Well,
what's going on here, Matt?
and it's kind of funny. The last thing I'll say about this is, of course, after I ordered mine, my wife got one, and hers has a real cool digital readout, like a right
Of
on the
course.
brick with the power percentage. I'm like, ah, of course, I bought too soon.
Yeah.
So I came across this article, and I feel like we may have talked about this months ago, but it came back up, and I just wanted to re-emphasize this, especially since we're all about to travel next week for VMon. How many of you go into the airport or public places and actually use the public charging where they actually have, the power ports that you can plug into? And I thought this was really interesting because the FBI now is getting involved, warning people, be wary about charging your phones with those public chargers. And I've seen these all through the airports. I know we all have, there's AC outlets, but there's also the USB ports. And to me, this one kind of resonated because we're talking about security and we're talking about keeping data, private and make sure it doesn't, fall into the wrong hands or we get phished or any of these other cyber threats. And I've even in this article, it even talks about some of these USB specific charging ports now. The culprit will actually leave a cable like in the charging port, just trying to entice you to just plug into your phone in case you forgot, the right USB
What?
cable. And it's like it's getting next level.
Yeah.
And I personally have never gone through the Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson and saw a random cable hanging there, but this is just like the next level of people trying to steal your data. And I kind of look at this like, okay, you got the power brick. This is obviously completely safe for yourself. You've got the AC plug, which I
Right.
would feel perfectly confident and safe about plugging in my laptop power brick into the AC plug. But those USB ports, I kind of wanted to get into this talk track because my ultimate question to you guys is the USB thumb drive dead now because of all these, potential attacks through USB ports?
I was just talking
This is
about this
just,
last week.
yeah,
I
it's
was,
just like,
yeah.
USB is becoming like the new target,
Yeah.
for people that want to steal your data.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
yeah, I agree.
I'm really glad that you said that AC is fine because I live and die by the AC chargers. I'll bring my
Yeah.
chargers with me everywhere because you need them. And if they were able to hack through electricity, then I'd truly be afraid. Like it's the world has ended. Let's just quit now. It's not worth
Yeah.
fighting anymore. So I'm glad we're not there. But these portable ports, I will say I've never used them personally, but I can see why you would, right? You might be in a situation where your phone, for whatever reason, just chewed through battery on the airplane. You
Yep.
thought it was in airplane mode. It wasn't. It was just searching for a signal. And you get there and your battery's dead. You need to get an Uber. How are you going to do that? Like, you're going to go through your luggage and find your charger and find an AC, or are you going to use one of these convenient things? Like, there's definitely reasons why these things exist beyond just, oh, I need a place to go plug in and juice up. So like I do appreciate the convenience factor and knowing that if I ever needed one, it's there. But to your point, Matt, if USB is so compromised that plugging into one of these things through the cables that are there is going to potentially get my information, infect me, make my life worse, then we
Yeah.
really need to think about this. Like this is not good. What are you
Right.
thinking, Sterling?
I think it's a great reminder. I mean, unfortunately, these types of things have been around for a while, and everything that I'd read in the past really does specifically speak to the cable itself. We saw a proliferation of these things, I don't know, somewhere maybe 10, 12 years ago, right when sort of the Apple, the iPhone really completely took over. Before many of the Android phones had replaceable batteries, and then
Mhm.
other ways to charge. And so when really the market sort of really took over with the iPhones, and of course the proprietary connectors, we saw many more people carrying the actual batteries. But then these stations started to pop up, and I used to see many people gathered around these stations in the beginning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have heard of these types of things. There actually is a product where literally the name is called USB condom, and it is literally something to be placed over top that is supposed to mitigate the ability for this sort of threat to come through that cable should you need a cable. So it's actually to the point where there are solutions that claim to fix this. But it's a great reminder. I mean, we really have to be aware of that.
I firstly, I mean, I do have a question about the USB condom
Uh,
because why not just bring a cable of your own at that point? Like,
Yeah.
why do we need a device to protect your device if you could just bring your own cable and plug it into the wall? Like, the whole point is
begs
the
the
convenience
question.
factor.
Begs the
Are
question.
are we solving a problem that does not need to be solved?
Oh
The
my.
solution might already exist.
It's
Plug into
true.
a wall, my friend.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about bring a cable?
Right, right.
I mean, it's next level stuff is going on here, and
For
it's
sure.
like, you got the USB challenge. The other thing, that we've seen a lot of that's not related to this article, but with spoofing mechanisms that
Mm,
can be placed on gas pumps, at
Yep.
gas stations and those actual card spoofers, and it's like they're just next level ways of stealing, data and money in that case.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm trained. I live in the gas station spoofing capital of the United States because Florida's just the worst when it comes to it. So they tell you always wiggle it when you get up to it. Like wiggle it. I don't use credit card at gas stations anymore just because it's so bad here.
Yeah.
I use tap to pay for everything, so that's
Yep.
my fix is tap to pay. But before that existed, you had to wiggle the card reader slot and see if
Yeah.
something came out because truly you would lose a credit card a month to gas pumps if you weren't careful.
Unbelievable.
That's
Yeah.
insane. That's
Unbelievable.
insane.
And hey, there's one more thing I'd like to address too, because that's
Yeah.
a very good question that Matt asked in between the question, which is the USB dongle dead?
Yeah.
Matt, you remember a time where we were working for Veeam Software.
Oh
We
yeah.
would give out USB dongles that actually had a version
Yep.
of Veeam Backup and Recovery (VBR) on the dongle. And
Yep.
so these things sort of went like candy. People would grab them because, of course, it was what, 8 gig, I believe. You could use
Yep.
it, download it, and then wipe it, and you have a one on the go. In my toolkit that we travel with, I do carry a USB dongle. I have to be honest with you, with the be able to leverage cloud sharing between devices. It's been a while since I've used it, so
Yeah.
this may mark the end where the juice just isn't worth the squeeze to use a USB dongle.
Yeah, and my take is specifically around that question is like for your own use, that's one thing, but like for sharing and exactly like you said, Sterling, for marketing, right? Like, hey, you want free backup and replication? You don't even have to download it. Here's the USB drive.
Yeah,
In today's world, I don't think that works. People
yeah,
are too skeptical of what's going to happen to my system when I plug this thing in because I had no control over, what went on it. So maybe if you bought one yourself straight from the manufacturer and it was yours just for file sharing,
yeah,
maybe. And I do still see a really good use for that for large files. So when you do like video editing and video work, you're going to have these mega files, and sometimes it's easier, transfer speed, you just shoot them over, but
yeah.
you're no longer really talking about a USB stick, right? You're talking about a USB drive, like external drive.
Right.
But I think for sharing reasons, USB is going the way of the dodo, I'm afraid.
I believe you're right.
I can't remember the exact circumstance, but in one of my previous jobs, I did learn about a team that had to back up their data to these very large external disks via USB, and they would actually first class ship them
Yeah.
to their co-location because it was technically faster than they could ever get it over the wire.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There is still a place for external media, and I think truly USB, especially like USB 3 and USB 2 and 1, those technologies are just, we've grown past them, right? Like
Yeah.
USB-C is here now. It's better. Everyone loves it. You don't get confused about which direction to plug it in. You just plug it in.
Yeah.
I think that there is still room for external devices and connections, but I think we have to treat them differently. We can't just be the open world of sharing like we used to. I remember one more story about USB because this just reminded me. Back in the cool days when like these were still very cutting edge tech, at a Nine Inch Nails concert, they were secretly slipping USB keys into attendees' pockets during the show, and it contained his newest music on there. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I didn't get one, but I did go online and found out other people did. And everyone shared the music with each other to create like the set list. So it's just,
That's
cool.
That's
a good memory, but you definitely would never do that today.
No. Hey, real quick before I turn the sharing off and give it to you, Sterling, I wanted to give one more plug on the whole Memorial Day topic. Check this out, guys. So we went to Lowe's yesterday, the home improvement store. Look at what Lowe's did in their veteran parking space.
That is super nice.
Super props to Lowe's, for doing something like this. I had to stop and take a pic. I was like, this is a department store. You see American flags, up there sometimes, but they really went the extra mile here, I thought that was really cool.
I love that.
I live adjacent to a graveyard, and every year my community puts on a Memorial Day remembrance sort of setup for pretty much the entire month of May. And they put up I think it's over like 300 crosses for all of the Central Florida veterans. And it's super somber. It's super memorial. You go there, you think, you're grateful, you're appreciative of the service that our veterans have given to both the living and the dead for us. It's very moving. And, it's important to remember that. And I'm glad to see even companies taking part in that as well.
Couldn't agree with that more.
Well, good stuff. Thanks for sharing that, Matt. And Sterling, what have you got for us today?
I have a little something for everybody that is thinking about upgrading their home security system. Let's call it surveillance system. Oh, and have I got something for you? Really want to go to that next level to make sure that your house stays safe? I'm not talking about just being able to just see what's going on in your house, see that somebody has come through the window, see that somebody is stealing that vase that your great aunt gave you that is in fairly heirloom. No, that's not enough. I'm talking about a video camera that can actually shoot paintballs and more.
Excuse me?
Yes. This is a new type of residential security system. And this system, and you can see my highlight right there, can teach the homeless people that break into your home or your teenager sneaking back in after curfew by deploying pepper spray, smoke bombs, paintballs, ear-piercing alarms, or best yet, a disorienting fog.
Yeah, so I like how disorienting fog takes up half the screen here. They really wanted to get that point across.
They really want to bring this down. And basically, this article is a great article. It goes into what this camera can do, how the homeowner can actually fight back during these times, and of course, even addresses issues of legality. They say right now that as they say it, each part of this piece is legal in all 50 states and will stay. Each piece, they didn't say anything about the summation of the tools together. Each part of this is legal in all 50 states and in most of the states where they have stand my ground or those types of other laws, they expect to be fully legal, but there's obviously still some loopholes to go through there. So they go into this and then they go into things about, is it ethical? It's a great article if you want to just give it a peek. But is this the future of home security surveillance? What do you guys think? Are you going to shoot a paintball at somebody breaking into your house?
I'm going to need a link to this after the show's over.
Yes.
I just can't. Are we sure this is not an April Fool's joke?
This is real. This is real. The patent is out. It's coming.
My first question would be, what happens for false alarms?
Right.
You're too late, man. You've got pepper spray with disorienting paintballs. It's like, what happens next?
Oops, firmware upgrade gone bad.
I mean, we love security, right? Our product is a security product. At the end of the day, we want to keep data safe. physical security is no different. Digital security, physical security, I consider them one and the same now, because truly one impacts the other. But
Mhm.
there is a difference in when physical security almost becomes a booby trap or something along those lines. I know that there is and I'm sure they've dotted their I's and crossed their legal T's, but you can't booby trap your house.
Yeah.
I get that this is something beyond that, because it's reactive. It's not a trap set waiting. It is something that activates and reacts based on the crime and the action. And I'm all for people being able to protect their home, protect themselves, ensure that they are safe at all times.
Yeah.
I just have so many concerns, false positives, it just bad update. Now it, identifies the dog as a target and it shoots the dog with a paintball every time it comes. There's just, when you mix technology with security, but it's not for technology's sake. This is technology for security in the meat space real world. I just see so many ways this could go wrong. And I'm very curious what motivated them to do this and how they plan to address some of the more concerning things that could potentially go wrong with this.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if the paintball misses. Now you've got paint all over your
Everywhere.
house because the dog
Everywhere.
ran by.
Right.
It's a heck of a cleanup.
Grandma comes to babysit the kid. We forgot to
man.
update the system that, grandma was coming over. Sorry, grandma, you're getting maced. That's not a good way to start the vacation.
Grandma's never going to come over again. And we haven't even
Never.
touched we haven't even touched the subject of being hacked. So now I'm in my house and I'm being shot with paintballs. I'm ducking behind couches. Hello. Now I've got to pay somebody not to shoot a disoriented fog at me in my own home.
Yeah.
That's
what happens if that? Go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna say that's a great point, and all I could think about is in that scene in iRobot where Will Smith is in the house and the deconstructing bot just starts killing it, just tearing the whole house down.
That was the
that's
entire
probably not the
premise.
best idea to set weapons inside your house that you have no control over.
Yeah.
Literally, there was a Chucky remake. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. This is the entire plot of that movie. Yeah. It's not Chucky, but it's we're close to it. What happens if the liquid for the disorienting fog leaks? Have we thought about that? Because that's
absolutely.
That's a liquid. It has. What is the disorienting fog? Is that legal? Is that safe?
You're right, and don't forget, to your point, these can also do pepper spray. So even outside of the disorienting fog, literally leaking pepper spray all over into your house, you're away on vacation, and that's what you come back to.
Oh my!
And what if all three of them combine? So the paint, the spray, and the fog mix together, and now you have colorful death fog that just makes your eyes cry when you walk through it, and you're disoriented, so you can't get out. This is just the worst case scenario, and
Version 2, I guess it's going to add the harpoon net, right? Like Spider-Man's
right,
net.
And chainsaw arms.
Indeed.
Where do we stop?
Indeed.
I think this is good. You need to have improved security with technology, and I think this is a great idea. But I don't know, the trap part seems so, or the reactions seem so questionable.
Yeah.
And who's going to beta test this thing? I don't want to volunteer.
Right?
No.
I would want the fully baked version 4 of this thing after it's gone through all the kinks.
Yeah.
Because when it goes wrong, it could go very wrong.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Whew. Well, thank you for sharing that, Sterling. Every week, new fear unlocked, having that in my home.
Oh, geez.
So, gentlemen, instead of me showing another Johnny Rain Cloud topic, which I know you were really hoping I would do, I did want to spend some time this week talking about what we're going to be doing next week at VeeamON. So before we get to a fun activity, Matt, I know we've got a ton planned for Zero Gravity at this event. Can you let our audience know what they can expect?
Yeah, so we've got 3 live streams planned throughout VeeamON. So we have our launch event where we're going to be unveiling something big, and that is actually going to be on Monday. So that'll be day one, technically, before the show actually starts, and that'll be at 11 a.m. Then we're actually going to have Sterling interview Ratmir, one of our two co-founders, and that'll be on Tuesday, 10:15, I believe it is. We'll have to double check the timing, and we'll share here in the chat for you guys. And then later that day, on Tuesday, we're going to have a zero gravity episode with Jason Garbus, and we're going to be talking about the whole zero trust data resilience ideology and kind of demystifying some of that. So that'll be later in the afternoon on day two, on that Tuesday. So a lot going on. I think we're going to do some pop up, unplanned live streams too. So those are just the 3 planned streams. So a lot going on from VMon.
Now, Sterling, you're going to be interviewing Ratmir, but you got some other activities planned too, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, well, first of all, we're going to have an amazing theater presentation. I'm going to be supporting the team where we have a couple of awesome breakout sessions. And did anybody mention the awesome VIP party that Object First is sponsoring as well?
What is that VIP party?
Ooh, listen, you are going to want to be a part of this. This is a premier whiskey tasting, and we have some non-alcoholic whiskeys for those out there that want to imbibe in that as well. But it is going to be an amazing high-end whiskey event. It's invite only. So you have to talk to one of your Object First representatives and get on the inside. If you're at VMon, you have to make sure you visit the booth, talk a little bit about UTB, and definitely inquire about this prime whiskey tasting event that we're having.
Heck yeah! I thought you were going to say it's a whiskey tasting contest. And
how do you determine a winner? No, this is not a contest. It's a tasting.
You had me at whiskey. I'll be there.
Indeed. Same. I can't wait.
Well, excellent. And, you mentioned Jason Garbus is going to be doing a live with us. I will be in a panel with Jason Garbus talking all about zero trust data resilience. So if you're going to be at the event, make sure to add that to your schedule. It's going to be great. It's going to be hosted by Veeam's own Ray Heffer. We'll also have Zach from Centerbase. So it'll be a whole crew of us talking about the importance of zero trust data resilience. So if you have not scanned those QR codes I put up every week on this show, you can go to that panel and you can get the full thing from us there. But in addition to all that, we do have something pretty fun planned in the booth. And I thought, if you're going to be at the event, if you're watching the stream, I'm going to give you a little insider knowledge. And the way we're going to do this is do it live on the show here. So throughout the day, when the booth is open at VMon, we're going to be playing trivia. And whoever gets the most questions right in trivia wins this very cool Luke Skywalker Lego Land Speeder. Trivia consists of 10 questions, and the participants will have to raise their hand to answer them, and I'll point to you, and you can answer it to your heart's content. And if you get it right, you get a point. The person who gets the most points wins, gets that Lego set. And to give you a leg up on the competition, if you watch this show, you're going to see the first round of questions today, and Matt and Sterling are going to play for kudos because we don't have an extra Lego set to give to them. So, gentlemen, are you ready to play some trivia?
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right. Should have tested this earlier, but I think we're good. Can you actually see the? Okay, you can. I can see it. You can see it. Awesome. Question number 1: how many bits are in a byte?
Is there a buzzer we're supposed to have here?
Yeah,
you can. Matt, I see your thumb.
I'm gonna say 8.
That is correct. 8 bits in 1 byte. Matt's leading with 1 point. All right, question number 2. Which security bug shares its name with a Bond movie?
Actually, this is a good one. Anybody in the audience, can you help me out here?
He's got a ring. I remember the ring.
If nobody helps me, I'm just going to say Skyfall. Come on, guys. Do say something.
It's not Skyfall.
Spectre.
That is it.
Nice.
Spectre.
I was going to say Moonraker, but that's that seems like the name of some, malicious software.
Yeah.
It certainly does. All right. Question number 3. According to our advice, what's the first thing you should get after a ransomware attack? Now, this question, I'll give a little preamble. This is based on a paper I wrote last year. So if you read that paper, you know what we suggest the first thing you do after getting attacked is. But the answer is not conventional.
I think I know this one.
Yeah?
I think I know this one.
Let's hear
this
it,
one's going to be off the wall.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say, you better go get a coffee.
That's 1 point for Sterling. Cup of coffee is correct. And the reason why we say this, just to give a little context, is reacting to a ransomware incident is not going to get you anywhere. In fact, it's just going to make things more difficult and potentially put you in a less recoverable state. Taking time to meditate, evaluate what's going on, have that coffee, talk with your breach counsel. All of this needs to happen before any action occurs. So just a little FYI there.
And if you
All right,
have
so
an
Matt's-
OOPI,
yeah,
if
go
you
ahead,
have an
Sterling.
OOPI, if you have an OOPI, then your step number 2 isn't to update your resume, which I just wanted to point that out as well.
That's very important call out. All right, so Matt's up with 2, Sterling's with 1. Let's see if we can tie it out here. What animals are casually called water bears?
Bears.
I'm curious if either you know this. This is some deep science trivia here.
Water bears. I mean, polar bears are always in the water, but
That's correct.
I don't
That's
think
not the correct answer.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think that's right. I would say beaver.
I was gonna say a beaver or otter. I don't know
Okay.
why. I'm taking this off
Well-
the wall, but
Both of those bear-like creatures are in the water. The actual name water bear is shared with tardigrades. And you might have seen these little ugly things before. They're
Yep.
microscopic. They've got 6 legs and they got weird little beaks.
yeah.
Yeah. Tardigrades.
That's interesting.
No points. That's okay. We're learning together. 2 for Matt, 1 for Sterling. Next question. What security risk is mitigated by zero access to root? If you think about this one, you can figure it out.
Let's see here.
What
Hazard a guess,
security
Matt?
risk is mitigated by zero access to root? What you got, Sterling?
Part of the zero trust. I mean, we know that piece, but
Mm-hmm.
Command line, like any type of command line malicious attack.
mm,
I'm going to give you a hint because
Pseudo.
you're on the right path, Matt. Who goes for the command line?
admin.
But not just an admin. It's a
A bad actor.
Threat act.
bad act. I'm gonna give you bad actor. It's an insider threat,
Yeah.
right? Because it's someone
Yep.
inside your organization who is looking to do harm.
That's a good
You'll
one.
get the point, Matt. All right, so that's 3 for Matt, 1 for
It
Sterling.
could also be an outsider threat who actually, hacked in and dropped to a command line.
That's
So I
true.
can see that going both ways.
That's
True.
not. I might have to update these questions after.
That's true. Or just give
Just let me do this
multi-points,
live.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know that when I ran a BBS in the 90s and somebody logged into my little POTS line, dropped to a command
Ooh.
prompt and hit
Oh.
format C : before I knew anything about security.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that was
That's
my
no good.
first experience with maybe I should put some security on this thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Learning
that's
experience.
horrifying. And yes,
Yeah.
I think I will update this question based on the answer. All right. So we're 3 Matt, 1 Sterling. What device did the Germans use for encryption in World War II?
Oh, I remember that from one
There's a
of these
movie
history
about this a
shows.
few years ago.
Yeah.
If it's a movie, I guarantee I didn't see it.
Oh, I remember, but I can't remember the name. It's a device, right? That they
It is.
kept trying to steal.
I
A
can see
hint
it.
is the word means curiosity, a mystery. Starts with the letter E.
Curiosity. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Enigma.
That's it. Good job, Matt.
Nice. Oh, wait.
Really?
Oh,
Are you just giving these away?
we have absolutely. I mean, you can't win them all, man. And I actually see we're having some people chime in too. Looks like
good.
Michael Shetler got that, and I think Matthew Swindell also said Spectre earlier as well. So
Love to see.
Somebody's got
I
my
can't see
back
the
out
chat
there.
because I have the PowerPoint slides up. So Sterling, please cheat at this point.
oh yeah,
Use the audience.
I'm help me out, audience.
These are great trivia questions too.
They are.
I'm glad to hear it. So, all right, we're halfway or more than halfway through. There's still a chance for a comeback, Sterling. There's still a chance.
But they're not getting any easier here. You have any motorcycle questions by chance?
I will have to add some just for you. How far away in light years is Earth from its second nearest star? That's not the sun. That's the first nearest. Just that's a hint for you.
Second nearest star.
Second nearest star. And it's a number. And it's, I'll give you a hint. It is a number less than 10.
Okay. Gonna go with 6.
Okay. What about you, Matt?
I don't think it's that far, but I don't know.
In light years?
Yeah, is it 5?
I'm going to give you both one more chance to answer. Neither of those are correct. So, Sterling, give me another number.
I'm going to go with, I'm going to double down. I'm going to go with 8.2.
8 it's a single digit. Matt, what is your
He's going to go with pi. 3.14. What?
We have a pi question later in this.
I'll just go with 4 because I dropped from 5. I'll go down.
Correct answer is 4.
Oh, nice job, man.
That puts you at 5, Matt.
Oh, man, I think Matt's got this wrapped. Yeah.
You do have this wrapped. So, you know, we for posterity, we're going to finish this up so everyone else watching can know the questions. But what is the world's most common password as reported by the WEF?
I have to say password.
And because he said password, I was going to say that as well, but I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or something like that.
Congrats, Sterling. You got it.
Are you
Nice.
Good job.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, see, I figured it would be password or admin because all the default routers come with that, like all over the world.
I think we underestimate just how many devices exist out there to set up by, 10-year-old kids.
Agreed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No one will guess it, right?
Agreed. We'll never use that again. Famous last words.
That's hilarious.
What do we call quick simultaneous movements of both eyes when we're looking at something? I learned this when this trivia question was handed to me. I'd never heard of this before.
Quick simultaneous movements.
Right. We're doing it all the time.
Both eyes. I don't know. I would say
I'd never heard this word. Right. So if you don't know it, you don't know it.
Definitely not shifting.
It's a learning opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
Anyone in the audience get it?
I was about to say, you're going to have some awesome stares in the booth at some of these.
I know.
Yeah. This is definitely not the lighthearted who can say it first type of trivia question for sure.
Yeah, well, listen, thinkers. If everyone raised their hand at the same time, it becomes very difficult for me. Yeah, so it has to be a little tough.
It's so
this is how I feel when I watch Jeopardy. Yeah. I'm reminded of how dumb I really am.
Matt says he's dumb, has answered the most trivia questions.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Crushing it, by the way.
So
anybody in the audience? No? Okay.
Not a clue.
No one? All right. So the word is cicades. And interesting, right? Like I never knew there was a word for this, but it's called cicades. And I don't know. I need to do some more research on this, but I almost wonder if that is tied a little bit to like this, the circadian rhythm of your brain when you're sleeping. So, there's some interesting verbiage happening here. Got to do some more research on it though. Cool word.
That is interesting.
I would never guess that.
Last question. This is a lightning round. So just blurt it out as soon as you know it. Go. What does one mean in the 3-2-1 backup strategy?
One offsite.
You both talked at the same time, so I'm giving it to both of you.
Lightning round. I love it.
I had no concerns with getting that one right.
With 0 errors.
That's, we didn't include the 110 because that would just make the question more confusing. Thanks for playing, gentlemen. Thank you for doing the trivia. Now, if you watch this and you're going to be at VeeamON, show up to the booth for the first section. You will seem so smart when you say
Yeah.
cicades. Everyone's gonna be like, dang, I didn't know you were smart. This is a great way to impress your friends and walk away with a Lego Luke Skywalker kit.
Awesome.
Yes. So thanks, Matt and Sterling, being good sports and playing along. And please show up to our booth, G2 at VMon, if you're going to be there. And before we log off, there's something else happening before VMon. We're busy people here at Object First. I got to show you. Tomorrow, we are doing a webinar with Corinne Bissett, talking about powering up your ransomware protection with Veeam and Utbe. If you have not attended one of these webinars yet, they are a great source of information. You're getting all the fun and excitement of a zero gravity, solely focused on the backup and recovery and backup storage use case. And Corinne is a wizard when it comes to this kind of stuff. So scan that QR code and sign up to join. It's going to be a really great session. We'll all be there. I can't recommend you show up enough. These have been such great webinars we put on, and this is the latest in our series.
This is going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of cicadas going on during this webinar.
Yes. My cicades are going to be out of control the entire time. I see we already got a scan, so thanks for scanning, and do please join. Again, we'll be at VMon next week, all week, booth G2. We hope to see you there. Sterling and Matt, anything I missed? Any closing thoughts?
I think for me, real quick, just a reminder, we will not be doing this particular zero gravity show next week at the normal time. On LinkedIn, I did paste the VMon 2024 agenda. It's a playlist on YouTube. It shows all 3 of the live streams that I referenced earlier with times. So if you guys want to, click on each of those and click notify me, that way you'll get notified when we go live. We'll return to our regularly scheduled zero gravity showtime the week after VMon. And just like you said, Anthony, for any of those of you watching that are going, swing by the booth, man. G2, come by. Let's have a chat. If you haven't seen a demo live in person, we'll have people on staff to show you that. And yeah, I'm super excited to be going back down to South Florida again to hang out with all the Veeam users, and should be a great show.
I echo those sentiments. I am so excited to get down there, meet with everybody, see everybody. And if you're some reason unable to get down there to see us in person, keep an eye out for some recaps. We'll have some sort of offshoots of some of the action. And of course, we'll have our recap here on this show as well. Can't wait.
Yep.
That's right. Thank you both. Good points. And I think on the 11th, we're going to have a special guest on the stream. So keep your eyes peeled for more news on that coming soon. Follow us on LinkedIn to always keep up on all things Object First is up to. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and leave us the review. All the things I said in the beginning. And as always, we thank you for joining us and watching and participating in our show. So until next time, stay weightless, stay frictionless, stay zero gravity.